Alright, so I just did the turntable preview vid for this, and I was having some thoughts, and the maker of the cases sent me a bunch of extra black parts. So we got the open button, reset, power button, cart flap, and the window, which just has some black on it instead of being all clear. I was like, oh, that'd be kind of cool to put that together and see what that looks like. So I went and grabbed the closest available Model 2 Saturn. I was like, well, we already have black donor parts here, so do we really need those new parts? I'm guessing that's no. So the first one I do is the reset, and I notice this part has to come from the donor Saturn. I kind of wish we could make that in the... That's how it was. That's how it came out of the Saturn, the donor. Obviously the buttons are going to be worn, full of dirt. So there's the donor, there's the new. Obviously the new is nice and clean. But I just had this feeling that the changing all this to black would kind of make it pop. I can imagine the window being that big of a deal. I mean, that literally just snaps in place. It's kind of meh. What I don't have is the donor. There's the power button. The donor motherboard ready. Yeah, that was a lot of work for... That's how easy it should have been. Just take that screw out and this thing will move to the left and the whole thing will fall out. I don't believe it matters how that spring is on there. I think it'll work either way, both ways. This tine looks longer than that one, but I think that's okay. So just for temporary. came off my mount for the lid. So there's a peg on the white piece that goes into this gear part and the lid, and then there's a peg on the cartridge door cover that goes into the white piece, the clear piece. The screw will hold both those in place. Ah! Put my finger right on it. It's not as overly impressive as I was hoping. Yeah. I don't hate it. So I think the right side goes in first to make it click right. I don't know, what do y'all think? I guess what we really need to do is to put everything in there, because that'll really change the way it looks. So yeah, no real idea where it came from. Or what I was doing with it. Probably got it for the Saturn project. One screw and a switch to the power supply. Should have been clipped in right there, but it wasn't. Two screws for the power switch. Let's see. Ribbon cable connector. Tiny screw for ground strap. And of course the center one's more of a number 1 than a number 2. Maybe should have done that one instead of the one on the disk drive then. There's another one. So 9 large. And then that one, number 1. Motherboard. I'm gonna say we don't need bottom RF shielding in this. Sure, a lot like this one, most people's are starting to rust and kind of look like crap. I mean, wouldn't you rather see the motherboard? I guess it's not that much to look at either. Angled in, controller ports come through. Wiggle her down. Disk drive connector. Let's see. Let's see if I can get a washer on it, of course. Helps to have a magnetic tip. I don't even know if this thing works. Let's see. Power supply, isolator. Power supply. This is one of those typical problems for the Saturn. These ears are broken. Greg at Laser Bear has new ones of this. You can tell solder joints are even broken badly. Maybe one of the reasons why this thing didn't work. Of course, if you buy a Saturn power supply replacement, you don't have to worry about that. I'm going to put it on here because I'm not really worried about this thing working. This is just about the case. Power switch. looks like crap. Definitely want to clean this. Go through the hassle of taking it apart. There we go. Now the case also does not come with screws to hold it together. Get the originals here. Five. And let's see. Number 2 screwdriver. Where you start seeing all the rust and crap through there. A little window right there. I've never noticed that. I don't know what that's all about. Of course, it's solid on the original, so you don't see it, but gives you some idea of what it would look like. Maybe we'll go ahead and remove that later and get another shot of it. Normally I preach when screwing into plastic to go counterclockwise until you hear it click, but since this is a new shell, we're making new threads. That does not apply. Just get it lined up and be firm. Get it done. They're all thread starting type screws anyway, not bolts. There you go. See a lot of the power supply and then a whole lot of emptiness over here. Kind of makes me wonder what it would look like with the black lid. But I'm definitely curious what it looks like with a game in it. Literally the first, it's like a Saturn disc I could find. Not weird, so it's all blue. Yeah, you can make it out pretty good. So yeah, the black adds a little to it. Oh, you know, I don't have that window on there still. It's different. I really wish I could make it come out on camera like it does to the naked eye. It's more like that even when it's flat. That looks yellow on camera, but it's more like that when you're looking at it with the naked eye. So what do we think? Black buttons, black window, yay, nay? It's fairly obvious to me that you can just use your donor buttons. Unless you got a cool Sega Saturn that's a different color, like this Sega Saturn white and gray ones. It'd be interesting. I should have some of those around here somewhere, actually. I don't know if it's worth even trying to put on the original lid. It's probably going to be the part that's always the most messed up anyway, and you want to be able to see the disc, you know, or your ODE, I guess, too. Optical disc emulator. If we ever get to that point. That moves awful freely. I think it's broke. Anyway, yeah. I definitely should mention that there would be 2 more screws on that power supply if those ears weren't broken. I must have taken them off for some other reason a while back. I don't know where they're at. But I just wanted to take the original power supply out and lay in the re-Saturn. This is an older one. Somehow I ended up breaking it. I just pulled the wire out of the harness, which I should have more harnesses coming. Anyway, I just kind of wanted to let you know what the re-Saturn would kind of look like in there. The problem is, I don't have, I don't know if that was the same size screw. I don't have the latest version of the re-Saturn. All of the Rexus PSUs are now black solder mask, not this old green type. Don't necessarily need to keep the plastic in there with the Rexus PSU. Because it's nowhere near that metal. And we don't have AC in there. So now you can see a bit of a red and black wire. A lot less caps up in there. Still some indication. That's what the back would look like, except for I'm missing one of the screws. Nice little clear part right there to look in. Sometimes I wish we had more clear like that, but I know it's in mold making, it's very difficult to have a perfect clear surface. It's much easier to get this textured surface, which is like an acid etch or media blasting. And I think the parts just mold better if you do that. So, off camera, I'm going to go ahead and take out the bottom RF shield to see what it looks like. I definitely prefer that. But who looks at the bottom of the console anyway, really, you know, so to each his own, I guess. I keep looking at it thinking there's got to be more tricks we could try. I don't think this is the same one I was using before. Anyway, I thought, wouldn't it be great if we could get rid of this entire piece? This RF shielding. But I'm already seeing where the light pipe mounts to it. Power supply has a mount right there. The CD-ROM, or the disk drive, has those 4 mounts. But I'm betting, so those 2 bolts back there don't have anything to do with the top shell. I don't think that bolt, nope, pretty much none of these bolts. So even the front 2 bolts, I don't know how we would do that. As a matter of fact, with the resatter, you probably wouldn't even truly need it. I mean, we could do a 3D print where it just sits on the motherboard just to keep it from sagging down there. But I was thinking we could have a print that spanned those 4 bolts, maybe 5, and that these plastic pieces could be recreated too to sit there for the disk drive. But the ODE, I believe, just uses that. So I honestly have not seen any of the mounts for any of the Saturn ODEs yet, so I don't know exactly what they use. I'm assuming most still have this in play somehow, but it would be really nice if we could figure out how to just have the motherboard in here. Surely we can have a light pipe over that. Looks like a normal T5 size LED. We could build a stand for the Saturn. I mean, it really sits on these so securely. I'd say it's not even necessary. I mean, unless you're shipping it, shipping is always an issue. But yeah, if I guess we need to figure out a way to mount the disk drive. But then we could have it looking like that. I mean, is it that much better? I don't know. And now that I see it in there, it's like, well, it's, because of the acid etch or whatever you want to call that, can't really see the motherboard. Another thought I had was, well, why not paint all of that like white, maybe? First I thought black, but then, I don't know how that's going to translate. Obviously it depends on the color of the case. I think white would accent the case color much better in almost every situation. Oh, so my wiring harness for the disk drive. Mostly because I think, a lot of people are going to have rust on their shielding. I guess that's something else to think about, is that shielding. Does it have anything to do with like the satiator ODE that slides in here? It might not, actually. And if so, we could 3D print something for that too. And if you're not a huge fan of seeing the motherboard from bottom, which this is the one place you can see more of it, because there are some clear spots for what the FCC and serial number labels would have gone right there. Anyway, it was just some ideas I had. I'm not saying any of them will ever come to fruition, but yeah, it was fun. That's actually my first full assembly of one of these. Went pretty well. You know, the other thing, I didn't know if the donor window was black like that. And something else I wanted to pursue, because somebody swears they made this work. This is what you would call Model 1 Saturn with the oval buttons. They swear it works with this case with some minor changes. Yeah, that window doesn't even, you can't even see through that window. There's only like one spot that has any see-through. That's wild. I never really knew that. So maybe the Model 1 or Model 2 case. Oh yeah, the Model 2 case. There's a bunch of see-through there, and that would have had, yeah, the black. But man, if they're anything like mine, then they look like crap. A little bit off camera there. Huge difference in clarity. So, yeah, I definitely want to try this. I forget what he said now. Okay, obviously the reset thing is completely different. I don't know in what way. It'd be great if it was just a different button. Two light pipes. We've got a hole for one. Nothing for the other. But it was always about the power switch. Looks like reset is, this part is too deep. I think the white pipe is a no-go. And that spring might be a no-go as well. And I just said it because it's not, there's nothing for it to push up against. Well, so my first thought is maybe this power switch it's going to be turned. Well, look at that. Oh, you know what? That actually looks really cool. The original black bottom on there with the black buttons. Maybe that's the combo I've been waiting to see. Huh. But the power button is fine. It's just, it's not straight across on the words. Only using the Model 2 button. Oh my god, reset works. So, it's really just the light pipes. And I'm guessing, I'd say it's probably not a deal breaker about the light pipes. You know what? It's actually just the, what was the green one, the power one? Yeah. That light pipe comes right up to the bottom of the shell. It's not even holding it. Oh man, you could just do a top swap and get this awesome combo. Maybe instead of selling full cases, we could just sell just the top, because that looks gorgeous. Yeah. Yeah, I don't mind having the green expansion port cover on there. So without the, well, he's already making them, so it'd be nice to have brand new buttons, I guess. It'd be nice if that reset button matched the power button as far as being domed, but I guess it wasn't like that in the original, was it? I don't know what I'd do with mine. Well, that's, gross cat here. That's a bit of an eye-opener. I really like this combination. And really all it takes is the top shell, the disk drive lid, and if we're going to put it on a Model 1, we'll have to supply those buttons, because we can't use the oval buttons, obviously. That is so interesting. Yeah. Very cool. Very, very cool. So, light pipe, I'm spitballing. I hate to destroy this one, but I'm guessing I can just clip some of it off. Might have to sand it down to make it look decent when the LED shines through it. I'd say it's a little loose in there, but it's not going to come off. Oh yeah, the plunger. So the Model 1 plunger was too tall, so we need the Model 2 plunger. Or I guess, oh, you know, that'll work. We'll just shorten this one, like I did the light pipe, right? I'm just going to eyeball the first one here. So that would mean you could reuse the spring. Oh, I am upside down, aren't I? I kept thinking, why is that so hard to get in there? I guess that spring is going to push against that collar. One more stupid thing to line up, I guess. Yeah, they don't feel right at all. I'm guessing because that much of it is up in the button, right? When it clicks in. So I actually need to shorten it from that point. And that will sit up in against the reset button. You know, it's really irritating that I didn't try this a long time ago. So, I went too short because I'm not. Yeah, I can't feel it. I can't feel it actuate the reset button. So I went too short, but it shouldn't be hard to figure out. Oh man, I'm like half a millimeter or a millimeter too short, and that's probably just because I'm just crudely doing it. Yeah, I'm pretty pumped. But that wasn't that big of a deal. And what have I done? I've taken the top off and then I put this on, and wow, what a drastic change that makes. This is super good. So now I'm super curious what the LEDs look like. Okay, so this one's got the broken ears and probably broken solder joint problem too. Oh, look at that. Huh. Well, the power green. Let me see. We'll turn the lights out. Those look so good in the dark. They look better in real life than they do on camera. Camera like adds a lot of light, but with the lights on, green is kind of lost. And red looks awesome. Kind of makes me wonder like how hard would it be? Would the light pipe go in a different direction? So there's one key at the back there. So maybe if I didn't cut the that looks weird being offset like that for power. But at least you can see it a little bit better, and I'm guessing if I hadn't cut it, oh man, yeah, that looks great. So unfortunately, I don't think we could put the red light offset like that. No. There's the open mechanism is right there. Okay, so what if we turn them inwards or outwards? Okay, out really works quite well. I believe that's the disk drive status. And then power to the left also. Oh man, we got a winner. I gotta find another Model 1 light pipe just to double check that, but I think that'll work. Get that key snapped off. It looks like we could set them in quite a few variations. Like if you just take the light pipe and twist it. That looks so good. And that eliminates having to cut that thing. But we still have to cut the plunger for reset. And it's got to be perfect or it will be screwed. Maybe that can be 3D printed too. Maybe that's what he was talking about. But I like this plan a lot. I just don't know. My selection of Model 1 stuff is probably pretty limited. Oval button stuff. So yeah, there's a key for that slot right there. I don't know if you can see that. But it's like kind of squared off. So you could actually set it in there diagonally and it'll sit flat against the RF shielding. They kind of look like if we set them like that, then they're not hitting anything, you know, on that part of the case. And you can see them. They kind of sit right up against the bottom of the case. It's perfect. That's great. So I call that a massive win. Makes me want to increase the brightness on the green or change the, I was going to say change the color, but it really makes me wonder what it's going to look like on the other colored cases. But I really like this combo of the black and just having the original black base. You know, then you get to keep your serial number. Yeah, right there. And like I said, who looks at the bottom? Super cool.